Greetings, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good day. Pete Pardo here from Sea of Tranquility. Welcome to another episode of Albums That Are 50 Years Old here in 2022. We are looking back at the year in 1972, a great year in music. I'm picking out my 31 favorites. We've got one pick each day throughout the month, 31 days of January. There might be a couple of days where you get more than one pick because we've got some bands who released more than one great album in this year, but we'll come to them as we do. We've already done one of those. There are a couple more on the schedule, so you'll have to kind of wait and see. And then also on the last day of the month, I'll be giving you all of my honorable mention picks, the ones that I really love a lot, but they just quite didn't make the cut. Didn't quite make the cut of 31, but I do want to mention them and give them some love. So that's coming up at the end of the month. So today, for day number 13, all right, we've got an album released September 1st of 1972, produced by Roger Bain. Name might sound familiar, right? He produced the first Black Sabbath album and released on the Cap Records, a division of MCA. I'm talking about the second album from Wales' very own Budgie Squawk. And that is correct. That is a Roger Dean piece of art on the front. Of course, the power trio of Budgie, made up of Burke Shelley on vocals, bass guitar, and keyboards, Tony Borgia on guitar, Tony Borgia, never quite know how to say his name, but make no mistake about it, he was a monster of a riff master, great guitar player, and Ray Phillips on drums. So this, like I mentioned, this is their second album from this power trio from Wales, one of the unsung heroes of the early proto-metal sound. I mean, so much heavy stuff going on these early Budgie albums. It's just a shame that they never get mentioned alongside, bands like Zeppelin and Sabbath and Purple and Heat, because quite frankly, they had plenty of material that was just as heavy. But what was interesting about their albums, not unlike Zeppelin, right? Zeppelin was doing it too, is they would generally throw in at least one or two little acoustic kind of pieces on all their albums to add some variety. But the rest usually were these big sledgehammer riffy songs early on, more kind of really, really heavy blues rock songs. But then as we got into, next couple albums after this, just really good proto-metal stuff. I mean, no other way to talk about it. But their albums, like I said, kind of varied because they would throw in those little kind of acoustic things here and there to give it some, little folky edge or a little proggy edge, right? And this album is no different. Starts off with Whiskey River, which is a good rampaging, slightly bluesy, heavy, riffy number. Tony's guitar work all over the place. You got, Burke's vocals, high pitched, kind of like Geddy Lee from Rush, maybe not quite as exaggerated, right? You got Rockin' Man. Lots of metallic riffing on this one. Again, another kind of groovy, bluesy, proto-metal song. Excellent. Then you got the two acoustic pieces coming up. Then you got Rollin' Home Again and Make Me Happy. And generally, most of their more acoustic songs were very short, like a minute and a half, 2.5 minutes. And they kept it to a minimum. It's almost like they just wanted to kind of give you that little bit of a respite in between all the big riffy things. All right. Then you got Hot as a Doctor's Armpit, which is the last song on side A of the original vinyl. Just killer riffs on this song. One of their notable songs from the early part of the catalog. Then flip it over, side B of the vinyl, you got Drugstore Woman. Again, another hard-charging, groove-laden, boogie, metallic number. There's just loads of just non-stop riffing in that song and just heavy grooves. Really dig Drugstore Woman quite a bit. Then you've got this interesting song, which is kind of, it's not really, it's a short piece. It's just under 2 minutes long. It's called Bottled. And it's not really acoustic. It's more kind of like these little jazzy, bluesy guitar things. And it's kind of cool, but it's kind of different. It doesn't really fit into the format of some of the other songs on here, but still pretty cool, but very, very brief. Then you've got the two kind of epic length tracks to finish out the album. You've got the monstrous Young is a World, which is just over 8 minutes long. I really, really like this song a lot because it plays to the strengths of the band that it's got. It's kind of like opens up, it's kind of folky, kind of proggy, right? You got mellotron and little, like jazzy kind of folky guitar strains going on. And then all of a sudden the big, huge, massive, doomy guitar riffing comes in, which just lays waste to everything. I mean, I just love when Tony just bursts in with this it's incredible. It's like Sabbath proportion. I mean, it's just, that's how mighty the riffing is in this song. And then it drops back into like the little, chording and just clean guitars, whatever, and the mellotron over the background. You got Burke kind of doing his little thing, and then the heavy riffing comes back in, and then the whole back end of the song, you've got this kind of trippy, almost like Planet Caravan by Sabbath, like little psychedelic guitar noodling going on. It's really, really interesting song because it kind of like jumps all over the place throughout the course of its 8 minutes and kind of keeps you on your toes. It's like a little bit of everything, which is pretty neat. And then the last track, Stranded, is just over 6 minutes of pure proto-metal riffing. Just a really, really kick-ass track. Another one of their mandatory tracks you need to hear from the early part of their catalog. Just big and heavy and beefy, and just love it. Again, a really, really strong album here that kind of gives you everything that was Budgie, especially the early part of their catalog. And I like this album quite a bit. I often have a hard time when I remember when I did the Budgie album ranking a while back, and even to this day when it comes up in conversation, trying to pick like my top 3 favorite Budgie albums, because you've got like the first album is really great, this album is great, the third album is awesome, and like the next 2 are, you got Bandolier and In for the Kill, and In for the Kill, generally speaking, gets the top nod for me. But man, this is really good. This is really good. So anyway, that is my pick for today. Budgie, the little band from Wales, with Squawk, as we go through 1972, turning 50 years old this year. So if you're a Budgie fan and familiar with this album, please let us know what you think of this album in the comments below, as well as pick your choice for day 13 here as we make our way through the month of January, looking back at 1972. And visit us on the web at www.seatranquility.org. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, of course, we're here on YouTube all the damn time. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and click on that notification bell. We also have the links to our Ko-Fi page for channel donations below, as well as the link to our merch page, so where you can check out some cool Sea Tranquility stuff. Stay tuned. Tonight we've got the Monsters Den coming up tonight. Tomorrow morning, Friday morning, the Funhouse with Martin Popoff. Saturday, we've got the UK Connection with Simon Bray and Stephen Reed. And Sunday, album homework assignment this week, it is Sean Tonar going up against Eric Porter. So stay tuned for that. A lot more here on the channel. I am Pete Pardo. See you real soon. Take care. Bye-bye.